Hello, my friends. Let's talk about different ways of communication between the minds. What I mean by minds is our true self, the souls. We are actually souls. And we can also call ourselves minds. Today, we will talk about the communication between humans and humans. Why do I say between humans and humans? Because we will also be talking about the communication between jinns and humans and between angels and humans as we proceed further. In fact, we will also be talking about the communication between God and humans at some point. So let's start with the first category today. That is between humans and humans. There are in fact two modes of communication between humans and humans. Today I will talk about the first one, and that is communication through receptors. When I say receptors, I am primarily referring to sound and sight. Let's take an example. When I am talking to you, I am actually producing sound energy. The process by which sound energy travels from me to another person's brain involves a series of complex steps that convert sound waves into electrical signals the brain can interpret. Let's talk about the details now. The first step is sound production. When a person speaks, their vocal cords vibrate, producing sound waves. These vibrations are caused by the flow of air from the lungs through the larynx, which is also known as voice box, and out of the mouth. Step 2. Sound wave propagation. The sound waves generated by the vocal cords travel through the air as compressions and rarefactions of air molecules. These pressure variations propagate outward in all directions from the source of the sound. The third step is sound reception by the ear. The outer ear, also known as pinna, collects sound waves and directs them into the ear canal. And the sound waves travel down the ear canal until they reach the eardrum. It is also called tympanic membrane. Step 4. Vibration of the eardrum. The sound waves cause the eardrum to vibrate. These vibrations correspond to the frequency and amplitude of the incoming sound waves. Number 5. Transmission through the middle ear. The vibrations from the eardrum are transferred to 3 tiny bones in the middle ear known as ossicles. These bones amplify and transmit the vibrations to the inner ear. Step 6. Conversion to electric signals in the inner ear. It's a very complicated process, therefore I won't go into details, but I will only mention that cochlea and hair cells play a vital role in this process. But let me at least mention that the movement of cochlear fluid causes the hair cells to bend, which in turn converts the mechanical vibrations into electrical signals. I thought this is a very crucial step, therefore I must share at least brief details about it. Now the next step, number 7, transmission to the brain. This function is performed by the auditory nerve. The electrical signals generated by the hair cells are transmitted via the auditory nerve to the brain stem. Then happens brain stem processing. What does it mean? It means that the signals pass through several brainstem nuclei where initial processing and integration of auditory information occur. The next step is number 8, processing in the brain. From the brain stem, the signals are relayed to the thalamus, a key relay station in the brain. The thalamus then directs the signals to the primary auditory cortex in the temporal lobe of the brain. This is where the signals are interpreted as specific sounds such as speech. The last step is number 9, interpretation and understanding. The auditory cortex and other associated regions of the brain work together to decode the sound information. This involves recognizing patterns, understanding speech, and attributing meanings to the sounds. Now, let me summarize this process for your convenience. The first step is conversion of sound waves. Sound waves from a speaker's voice travel through the air and are collected by the listener's ear. Number 2, mechanical to electrical conversion. The ear converts these sound waves into mechanical vibrations, which are then transformed into electrical signals by the hair cells in the cochlea. 3, neural transmission. These electrical signals are transmitted by the auditory nerve to the brain. Number 4, brain processing. The brain processes these signals to interpret and understand the sound. I will conclude by saying that the journey of sound energy from one's voice to another person's brain is a complex but a very well orchestrated process which involves mechanical, chemical, and electrical changes. Each step, from the initial production of sound waves to the final interpretation in the brain, is essential for effective auditory communication. Now, the most important question arises, and that is, how does this message reach the self, the true self, that is soul, that is also called mind? This aspect of the process is not known to us. It is only known to our Creator, because the communication process between body and soul, or between the carrier and the driver, or between us and our carrier, is a very complex process which is only known to our Lord, our God, the amazing Creator. And before I close, I think it might be useful to briefly talk about how brain and mind are understood in our current world. The concepts of the brain and the mind are often used interchangeably, but they refer to different aspects of human cognition and consciousness. Let me explain a few differences between brain and mind. What is brain? The brain is a physical organ located in the head, part of the central nervous system. It is composed of billions of neurons and other cells, and it functions as a control center for the body's activities. We call it central processing unit, or the computer of human body. The brain processes sensory information, regulates bodily functions, and enables movement, speech, and thought. Now let's talk about mind briefly. The mind refers to the set of cognitive faculties that include consciousness, perception, thinking, judgment, and memory. It is the aspect of intellect and consciousness experienced as thoughts, emotions, and imagination. The mind encompasses mental processes like reasoning, planning, imagining, and feeling. It is where psychological phenomena occur, such as mood, temperament, and personality. It deals with abstract thinking, self-awareness, and the ability to reflect on one's mental states. My friends, this is how the modern science looks at brain and mind. However, we think that mind is actually another name of soul, which is our true self. I will stop here, and I'm looking forward to the next mode of communication between humans and humans. Thank you.